The assassin. You know I break necks, call me Jack Tate. I have no regrets while your life is fading. I'm a crazy fuck equivalent to Satan. When I'm behind the mic, I feel like the greatest. You know I break necks, call me Jack Tate. I have no regrets while your life is fading. I'm a crazy fuck equivalent to Satan. When I'm behind the mic, I feel like the greatest.
What up, y'all? You're listening to Sports Talk with Tropp, and I'm your host, Katie Tropp. Well, before we get into things, I did just drop a new promo video for my upcoming music video, Kill 'Em With Crazy. The promo video just dropped over the weekend, but I will be dropping the music video on Friday. But you can go check out the promo video on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/KatieTropp, or you can go to my official website, katietropp.net, and check it out on there. Now, before we get into the weekend's games, I'm actually going to start today's show off with the segment we haven't actually had in a few months at least, and that is retarded hysteria of the day. That has a topic came up this weekend, and retarded hysteria of the day had to be brought back today because of the stupidity that has ensued basically since Friday and has continued all the way into today. And so what happened on Friday? Well, the Dallas Cowboys hired Brian Schottenheimer as their new coach. He's been their offensive coordinator behind Mike McCarthy, and he was hired. So my reaction to this was cool. I mean, he hasn't done anything, meaning he hasn't lost anything. He hasn't won anything. Let's give the dude a chance, because that's what you do with a coach, or at least that's what you should do. But of course, you know, Dallas Cowboys fans are usually crybaby little cunts. That's why all the media is always laughing at us all the time, because all y'all are big fucking whiny crybabies. And as soon as this news broke, I went to Twitter just because I knew I follow a lot of Cowboys beat writers. I follow a lot of Cowboys Twitter accounts. I follow a lot of Cowboys stuff because, you know, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. And one of my favorite things to do is when something stupid happens, just to see the reaction and the complete hysteria that ensues. Well, I knew this was going to happen because, first of all, it didn't matter who the Cowboys signed as their coach. Everybody was going to lose their ever-loving mind no matter what. I think even with Deion Sanders, because I really want to know, who's the magic man all you stupid Cowboys fans wanted as our coach? Really, who is this magic man who you thought was going to take over? Because what I loved, so before the season started, Mike McCarthy did not get a contract extension. And even so, as a matter of fact, after last year's playoff loss, all these same people wanted Mike McCarthy fired. They had no suggestions on who should take his spot. And of course, you know, we had another year of Mike McCarthy. And then we had the week of, are we going to keep him? Are we not? And I'm pretty sure Mike McCarthy just stuck his middle finger up and said, I'm done with this shit. I'm out. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm reading here. When I read between the lines of all the reports, it sounds like Mike McCarthy said, fuck y'all. And the Cowboys weren't really expecting that, at least from what I am reading and seeing. Obviously, I have no insider information because I am a nobody. But I'm pretty sure Mike McCarthy said, fuck y'all. So Cowboys were probably pretty shocked with that. So we had to find a new coach. And, you know, the whole Deion Sanders thing, I thought that was more fake. I didn't really think that was anything. I thought that was just kind of a feeling out thing, a little bit of a stoke the fires, get some headlines shit. But I didn't really think he was leaving college ball. As a matter of fact, I think Deion Sanders likes being a college football coach, and I actually think he wants to continue to not only stay at Colorado, but I think he's at some point going to work up to a better school, meaning like maybe an FSU, because he's an ex-FSU player, maybe in Alabama, because you never know what's going to happen with them in the future. LSU, teams like that, I wouldn't be shocked if he has his sights set on a more prominent college football team than the pros. So I never believed in the Deion Sanders thing. Then everybody's upset about Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. You know, I'd like to point out to y'all, when it comes to the almighty Ben Johnson, the almighty Ben Johnson has accomplished absolutely nothing. Yes, the Lions offense has been very good under the Ben Johnson reign as the offensive coordinator, but that does not translate to anything that's going to happen when he becomes a coach. For all we know, Ben Johnson's going to become the next Josh McDaniels. You guys know Josh McDaniels? You know, the almighty offensive coordinator everybody dubbed the next great head coach because he was with the Patriots and he had Tom Brady and they won a bunch of Super Bowls and yada, yada, yada. Oh, and that's right. Josh McDaniels was a completely unsuccessful, terrible fucking head coach. And he stayed offensive coordinator now because that's where he needs to stay. So that's what Ben Johnson could end up being. So who cares if we fucking missed out on that dude? And he was never coming to coach in Dallas anyways. And everybody's talking about Mike Vrabel. Hey, newsflash, y'all. Mike Vrabel was never coming here. Once that Patriots job opened, I don't know how any of y'all thought he was going anywhere else besides New England. So get a grip on that shit. And really, who was our magic savior? Who was our magic man? I personally don't have a problem with this Schottenheimer hire. And it's really funny, too, to see how retarded little crybaby Cowboys fans have reacted to this. And it's like, just so y'all know, I don't know if you remember, but when Dan Campbell and Nick Sirianni were hired as head coaches for the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles, the almighty media laughed and mocked them. Well, Dan Campbell is the coach of the Detroit Lions. What has he done with the Lions? Now, they haven't won a Super Bowl yet. I mean, they had a good shot at it, but they failed. But still, he's literally turned that entire organization around. So how funny is that? Oh, and then we've got Nick Sirianni, the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, what's going on with the Eagles? Oh, that's right. The Eagles, they're in the Super Bowl this year. How odd is that? So you people who are making all these judgments, you have no fucking idea what is going to happen with this coach. You know why? Because that's what was going to happen anyways. It didn't matter what coach we signed. It's the great unknown because that's what happens when you hire a new coach. But you know, the almighty retarded Cowboys fans just lost their mind, lost their shit. And my favorite is seeing you losers. And if you are one of these losers, I've actually taken note of a couple of my friends on Facebook who I've seen, me gonna be no Cowboy fan no more. I am taking note of you idiots. I don't want you back on our bandwagon. I don't want you back ever. I don't want you back if we are 0-17 next year, and I don't want you back if we win the Super Bowl. I don't want you on this bandwagon ever. I want you gone if you are a big fucking whiny crybaby cunt who can't rock with your team through the highs and the lows. You are a fucking whiny cunt. And it's sports, y'all. It really ain't that drastic. Get a fucking grip, you stupid, idiotic Cowboys fans. Me, Brian Schottenheimer, welcome to Dallas. I hope you do well. I am actually looking forward to seeing what you may potentially do. As a matter of fact, what I do like about this hire is he does know the offense. He has worked with Dak Prescott over the last couple of years. I imagine Dak Prescott has some trust with the guy. That also means he's worked with CD Lamb, another one of our guys who's got a big contract, who's going to be with us for a while. So, give him a chance, y'all. Instead of blowing your gaskets and acting like hysterical little crybabies, just give him a chance. I know everybody has to act like, oh, Jerry Jones owes me something. No, guess what? Jerry Jones owes none of us a goddamn thing. As a matter of fact, I don't know what it is with sports fans and how you all think that like you matter so much to teams. You actually don't. None of us do. Yes, we do spend money and we do give them money, but for the most part, our opinions don't matter. The fuck do any of us know? None of us have ran a fucking franchise. None of us fucking know what the fuck we're talking about, so shut the fuck up. Seriously, get off your fucking high horse, get your head out of your fucking ass, and go get a fucking life, because that's what most of y'all need. Get the fuck off social media and go get a legitimate life. But I know most of y'all are a bunch of depression case losers who just want to sit around and be angry and mad your entire life. So enjoy that loser fucking time. And I will enjoy being a Cowboys fan and look forward to seeing what we could potentially do in this offseason. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way. Oh, by the way, Schottenheimer had his press conference today, his introductory press conference, and of course, still people were being big whiny cunts about it. So, but just so y'all know, he is officially the coach, and it's not going anywhere. And I still want to know who's the magic man you all thought we were getting. Who's the magic man? Who is he? Who is coming to save us? Nobody. Get a life, losers. Anyways, let's move on to the crappy games of the weekend. And yes, I say crappy games because the two teams I did not want to fucking win. I swear to God. I hate myself for actually... I said this. I said this about... I say a month and a half ago. I don't know if I said it on the show, but I know I've said it to a few of my friends, and I pissed off at myself because I completely predicted it accurately. I said about a month and a half ago, I just see it. I just see this Super Bowl being Eagles and Chiefs. I just see the Lions letting me down. I see the Bills letting me down. I see the Ravens letting me down. I just see the Chiefs walking on into this Super Bowl, and I just see the Eagles running all over everybody, and guess what? I was right. So let's start off with the NFC Championship game between the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I will say, Saquon motherfucking Barkley. I have been talking about how I believe Saquon is the MVP of the league. Everybody thinks it's Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Nope. Saquon has not had one bad game this entire season. That motherfucker has ran over every motherfucker. He became a 2,000-yard rusher. Yeah, ninth in NFL history. He actually could have broken that record. I'm actually kind of upset that the Eagles did not let him play the last week of the season, because I guarantee you he would have busted that record. That is how Saquon Barkley is playing this year. And now he is in the Super Bowl. And in every playoff game, this guy has been a huge ass factor for the Eagles. Whereas Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson not only were meh in their final games of the postseason, but where are they? Oh, they're at home. Saquon is moving on to the Super Bowl. So while I hate the fucking Eagles, it is so hard for me not to respect what Saquon Barkley is doing. That guy is such a beast at running back. He rushed for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns. As a matter of fact, the Eagles as a whole rushed for 7 touchdowns, which is a playoff record, by the way. But the Eagles just murdered the Commanders yesterday. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even really a game at all. The Eagles won 55-23. That final score should tell you everything. I mean, Saquon, first time he touched the ball on the first drive, boom, gone, daylight. I was like, this is Saquon. This is what he does. That's why I'm saying this dude is the MVP. This Eagles team would be nothing without Saquon Barkley. They would be half the team they are. They might have made the playoffs, but they would not be in no Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley. That's why I'm like, he is the MVP. He's proven it, but it doesn't fucking matter. He's got a shot at winning Super Bowl MVP. How about that shit? Jalen Hurts, fantastic game as well. 20 for 28, 246 yards and 4 touchdowns. 3 of those touchdowns were rushing touchdowns. One of them was a passing touchdown. And he delivered some darts yesterday. He had this 4th and 5 to A.J. Brown. Boop. I think it was A.J. Brown. It might have been somebody else, but he was on point yesterday. This entire Eagles team was on point yesterday. Their defense just completely suffocated this Commanders offense. They weren't able to get anything going. I would say this is Jaden Daniels' worst game of the season, but that it really wasn't that bad of a game. It's just you could tell he was very frustrated. They were getting at him, and they were just doing what they needed to do. And Philadelphia has been one of the most talented teams, just roster-wise, and I think they actually played their best game of the season heading into the Super Bowl. So congratulations to them. You know, the Commanders, they had a good year as well, but the Eagles were the better team yesterday, obviously. And of course, some Commanders fans are crying about a few calls that didn't go their way. Well, guess what? There was a couple of calls that did go your way, but you lost 55-23. There are no excuses in that loss, so shut the fuck up. Moving on to the AFC Championship game and the letdown that was the Buffalo Bills. I actually knew this game was over on the second drive of the game when the Kansas City Chiefs scored their first touchdown. Let me tell you why. Because the Bills opted to receive the ball, take the ball down the field, and Josh Allen just was itching to throw an interception on this drive. He almost threw 2 interceptions on this drive. It was a 3-and-out, and boom, done. They looked like shit. And I was like, oh, cool, that's awesome. Well, let's see how they handle the Kansas City Chiefs on their first drive. Well, Kansas City drives right down the field and scores 7 points. And from then on, I actually was like, ooh, this game's done. And the reason why I thought this game is done is because I knew the Bills were going to be playing catch-up the entire time. Now, they did take the lead a couple of times. It was actually a back-and-forth game, but there was never really a point I felt comfortable that Buffalo was going to win this one, just because when you keep the Chiefs in it, they're going to win it. They always do. And the reason why is obviously because of Patrick fucking Mahomes. The dude is a beast. He's such a damn good quarterback. He makes the plays when you have to make the plays. And he just is difficult to stop. And it doesn't matter what you do. He just always makes the right play at the right time. And he just plays football so amazing, and it doesn't matter. And I mean, just as a whole, the Chiefs as a whole play situational football to a perfect T. And that's what you have to do to win championships, because you usually lose these playoff games by about 3 to 5 plays. And that is what happened to the Bills. There was this one thing that really pissed me off with the Bills all last night was those 3rd and inches and 4th and inches plays, and they kept doing the stupid ass tush push and only going to the left. And every time they would get stopped, and even Tony Romo in the booth is saying, why do you keep going to the left? It's not working. And so there was this big 4th and 1 play, and it was a close call. But since it was a close call, it ain't going the Bills' way, because it honestly did not look like a first down. When in real time, didn't look like a first down. And on replay, 2 of the shots don't look like a first down. 1 of them might be a first down. So when you look at it like that, sorry, maybe you should have ran a different fucking play instead of the same one that you got stopped on every single time. It just was stupid. And that's just what happens in games of inches where you blow it like that. And that's what happened to the Bills, is they blew it. Not the refs, because I am so sick of hearing that shit. First of all, let's talk about, I already talked about Mahomes, but his stats for the day, 18 for 26, 245 yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay? Y'all can act like that had to do with the refs. Nah, it did not. Just give up the conspiracy theories on that shit, because the Bills should have capitalized on the moments they needed to capitalize on. There were a few drives they stalled out on. Another thing they did that I thought was stupid, might not have made a difference in the game in the final score, but they went for those 2-point conversions early on in the game, which is stupid, and that cost them just points on the board right there. And they just did not play a good game. Whereas the Chiefs, their only mistake was a Patrick Mahomes fumble, and after that, they just kept it moving. They were able to just capitalize when they had to. The defense, man, on that last play, what was it, 4th and 5 or something, and they just went right at Josh Allen, and he throws up the ball and is able to get it to Kincaid, who drops the ball. But I mean, sorry, y'all, play better football. The Bills should have played better football. This is not a conspiracy theory. And P.S., you stupid people and your dumb little logo conspiracy theory. Y'all are really reaching with that, because last year's logo had the colors of red for the Kansas City Chiefs and probably the Niners too, because they both are red teams. But there was purple in there too. Enlighten me on who that purple team was who played in last year's Super Bowl. Oh, that's right, there was no purple team. But I did see the stretch that all of you retarded conspiracy theorists are throwing out there. It's because Taylor Swift is wearing purple on her Speak Now album that she released last year. That is the furthest stretch I've ever heard in my life, to try and connect all your stupid little logos together. You have got to be the dumbest morons on the face of this fucking planet if that is your hill you are standing on. That is the perfect example as to why I think conspiracy theorists are fucking retarded. Because everything, they will just grasp at every straw. But Taylor Swift wore purple. Are you kidding me? Nobody's thinking about Taylor Swift when they fucking put together the Super Bowl logo, you absolute morons. Do you think they put together the Super Bowl logo last week? No, they put together the Super Bowl logo when they fucking decide where they're playing. Like, did you guys know? They know where they're playing the next 3 Super Bowls. I bet you they already have all 3 of those logos done. Yeah. But most of y'all are stupid. Most of y'all need dumb shit like that so you could say, oh, this is why the Chiefs suck. Guess what? I hate the Chiefs just as much as all the rest of you. But here's the thing about the Chiefs. They're good. I'm sorry, y'all, but they're good. They have a Hall of Fame coach in Andy Reid, who's literally one of the all-time winningest coaches of all time. He's been great everywhere he's gone. Patrick Mahomes, he's chasing Tom Brady goals now. If you don't know, Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. So when you got a Patrick Mahomes who can make all the plays when you need to, you're good. And then you've got Travis Kelce, even though he's having a shitty fucking year, he still makes the plays when he needs to. He's a Hall of Fame tight end. They're good. And then they make all the plays when you need to, because they're good. And that defense of theirs, it's one of the highest ranked defense in the league because they're good. And yes, I know it sucks when you see all these referees and they make these terrible calls, but guess what, people? If you actually pay attention, which I know most of you don't, but if you watch every game, every week, there are at least 3 to 5 bad calls by the refs in every single game. It's not just the Chiefs. I know you got that little bit of hatred in your heart and you just gotta make up all the excuses. No, y'all, the Chiefs are good. So just accept it. They're good. Now, let's move on to the NBA and talk about the top 10 NBA power rankings for this week. We got a few good teams in here and a few shakeups and a team that is now starting to fall. I don't think they're going to keep falling. I don't think they're going to free fall. As a matter of fact, they're starting to play better. They had a better week, but they're just not looking as consistent as some of these other teams. So let's get to number 1 on my top 10 NBA power rankings this week remains the Oklahoma City Thunder. Overall record of 37-8. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Utah Jazz, lost to the Dallas Mavericks, and beat the Portland Trail Blazers. And this team is so good. SGA is on a murder fest this season. He is just on fire and so unstoppable, man. He is so good. Hartenstein is just fitting right in with this team. Oklahoma City looks for real. They actually look for real, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I mean, I used to think that, of course, when they had Durant and Harden and Westbrook, that was a really damn good team. But, whoa, SGA, don't be shocked if you see this Oklahoma City Thunder team in the finals. Then at number 2 on my top 10 NBA power rankings of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Overall record of 36-9. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games. This past week, they lost to the Phoenix Suns, and now they are on a 3-game losing streak. They lost to the Houston Rockets twice this week and the Philadelphia 76ers. So just not a good week for the Cavaliers, which is why they weren't able to bust up over the Oklahoma City Thunder because they're obviously not doing as well this week as the Thunder, but they're still one of the top teams in the league. And so what, you lose 3 in a row, that's probably going to happen at some point to every team this season. But I'm sure Cleveland will get right back in it. I mean, they are 36-9. They haven't even suffered 10 losses on the season just yet. Then at number 3 on my top 10 NBA power rankings, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. Overall record of 31-15. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games and on a 6-game winning streak. This past week, they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Charlotte Hornets, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Utah Jazz. Right now, they are first in the league with points per game, averaging 124 points per game. They are blowing everybody out of the water, but they are killing it on the defensive side of the ball. They are owning the paint. They are a damn good team. I didn't know if this was going to be a legit squad. No, this is a legit squad. They actually are playing excellent basketball. They are really difficult to stop. And even through the injuries, it doesn't matter. They are still playing really well. Zach Edey fitting right in. Ja Morant having another fantastic year, making great plays. Jackson, he's also having a great year as well. So it's just like this whole team is really meshing and really gelling very well together. I actually thought the Grizzlies were going to make the playoffs, but I did not think they were going to be this good to start. Then at number 4 in my top 10 NBA power rankings, I'm starting to believe in them more, and that is the Houston Rockets. Overall record of 30-14. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games. This past week, they lost to the Detroit Pistons, beat the Cleveland Cavaliers twice. And they are so legit offensively, defensively, in the paint. And they're beating good teams. I mean, when you beat Cleveland twice in 1 week, that says it all. Green having a great year. Şengün having a great year. Van Vliet. They are just such a good team right now. And the fact that they just keep putting it together, but they're not falling apart. They're actually like I said, they beat Cleveland twice this week. So they're actually beating good teams. And they just are so consistent, playing really good basketball. I don't know how long it's going to last, of course, but I mean, they're young. So I kind of feel like the injuries probably aren't going to be much of a factor for them because they're young. So unless something crazy happens, but for the most part, this is a really fast team on the offensive side of the ball. But defensively, you can't mess around with this team. They compete with the best of them. So look out for the Houston Rockets. Tumbling down to number 5 this week on my Top 10 NBA Power Rankings are the Boston Celtics. Overall record of 32-14. They are 6-4 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Golden State Warriors, beat the Los Angeles Clippers, lost to the Lakers, and beat the Dallas Mavericks. So they are starting to get back on course, but they have had a couple of down weeks. They aren't really looking as cohesive as they usually do. I mean, it's really odd because Brown has really had a spotty season so far. He has those moments where he has good games, but then he has these moments where he just completely disappears. And so he really hasn't had his typical season that he's had over the last couple of years. And I kind of feel like that's a reason why they haven't been as consistent. I kind of feel like he needs to get back into the groove of things for this team to get back to the championship level. But at the same time, they're still the Celtics, and I still think they're a good team. Then at number 6 on my Top 10 NBA Power Rankings, a team that is just trucking on through everybody, and that is the Denver Nuggets. Overall record of 28-17. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Philadelphia 76ers and the Sacramento Kings and lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This team is unstoppable on the offensive side of the ball. But defensively, you really got to look out for this team. They're getting healthy, and this is a championship-level team. I think a lot of people forgot about them because last year they didn't win anything. But you got to remember, this team is only a couple years removed from their championship, and they've been one of the best teams in the league. So defensively, you got to watch out for them, but offensively, you really do. Right now, they actually lead the league in field goal percentage. They are knocking down 50.3% of their shots, so they're really not missing any shots. Then, of course, you got the triple-double king, Nikola Jokic, and then you got the other triple-double king, Russell Westbrook, on the team, and these guys, they're getting it done. So you really got to see that with this Denver Nuggets team, they started the season off slow, but they're starting to look like the old Denver Nuggets that we're used to seeing over the last couple of seasons. Then at number 7 on my Top 10 NBA Power Rankings of the New York Knicks, overall record of 30-16. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Atlanta Hawks, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Sacramento Kings. And this is another team that's getting it done at all ends of the court, offensively and defensively. All of their players are stepping it up, but it's really, man, Josh Hart defensively. This guy is making huge plays. He's really, Brunson, of course, is the dude. And then, of course, you got Karl Anthony Towns, who's just fit in so perfect with this team, but Josh Hart. And I kind of feel like maybe Karl Anthony Towns kind of fitting in an offensive role has really helped Josh Hart in his defensive role to really take over because this team defensively, they're going to be something to fuck with, man. I mean, once we get to the second half of the season, if they keep it up like this, don't be shocked if you see the Knicks slowly climb up to the top spot in the Eastern Conference because as an all-around team, they are looking really damn good. Then at number 8 on my Top 10 NBA Power Rankings are the Milwaukee Bucks. Overall record of 25-18. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Miami Heat and lost to the Los Angeles Clippers. But this is another team. They've had their up and down moments, but they are now starting to gel, and they are really starting to become a cohesive unit. Giannis is having a monster year. The dude's practically averaging a triple-double himself. But then you've got Dame Lillard, who he is fitting right in with this team. Brook Lopez, still doing it. The dude's like 95 years old, and he's still out there having a fantastic year. And Bobby Portis, he's been making some big-ass plays for this team, too. So Milwaukee's starting to look more consistent, starting to look more cohesive, and who knows, maybe they'll actually get back to their championship level of play. All I know is Giannis, that dude is having a monster season so far. Then at number 9 on my Tropp 10 NBA power rankings of the Los Angeles Lakers. Overall record of 25-18. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. This past week, they beat the Washington Wizards, the Boston Celtics, and the Golden State Warriors. They've had such an up and down year too. Right now they look really good. Like when the Lakers are good and winning, they look good. I mean, Anthony Davis, right now he's averaging 26 points per game, 12 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game. LeBron's averaging 24 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, and 9 assists per game. So these two are having very consistent seasons. It's just everybody else around them. Like I've said about them, my big problem with the Lakers is that they just like to throw up the 3 when they get desperate. And it's like you can knock down the 3. Connect is amazing at the 3. Reeves is even great at the 3. But sometimes they just throw up 3s when they don't need to because they're so desperate. It's like, just set up the motherfucking play, y'all, and things will work out for you. But right now, the Lakers are on and looking pretty good. I mean, hell, they beat the shit out of Boston the other night. It was a fantastic game for me to watch personally. But I mean, they've had their down moments. I still think they got to make a trade for somebody, so we'll see what happens with this team. But right now, they're on the upside of things. And rounding out the Tropp 10 NBA power rankings this week, I have the Los Angeles Clippers. Overall record of 26-19. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. This past week, they lost to the Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics and beat the Washington Wizards and the Milwaukee Bucks. James Harden and Kawhi Leonard really starting to get going offensively for this team. Of course, the questions with James Harden are, is that going to happen in the postseason, or are you just going to completely disappear as you normally do? Or are you going to get mad at something and throw a little temper tantrum midway through the season and take your ball and go home, or you going to keep playing? Kawhi, he is healthy right now, and he's getting stronger every game. This guy is beast mode. I mean, I've always liked Kawhi. I think he's a good player. It's just he's always injured. And, I mean, he plays for the Clippers, so I'm not really rooting for you to do well. But he is a good player, and he actually, now that he's back from injury, he's actually starting to look really good. And this Clippers team is actually starting to get rolling on the offensive side of the ball. And a little bit of extra NBA news today. So Jimmy Butler has been suspended now indefinitely by the Miami Heat. If you don't know, he's been in a huge dispute with the Heat. It's basically been going on since the offseason. He's wanted a contract extension. They haven't wanted to give him a contract extension. So now it's turned into trade my motherfucking ass. And Pat Riley's like, no, bitch, I'm not trading your motherfucking ass. And so, Jimmy Butler is doing what he has to do to get the fuck out of there. And so he's basically throwing little temper tantrums, not showing up for meetings or not showing up for flights and stuff. And so they ended up suspending him 7 games. And then it looked like he was going to come back yesterday, I believe. And then they just announced that they're going to suspend him indefinitely. And to me, I'm just looking at this whole situation like, just trade his ass, Miami. Why are you hanging on to this dude? If he don't want to be there, if you don't want to give him the contract extension, what's the deal? At least get something out of it. You could get something for him. I mean, for the most part, the Miami Heat are actually a pretty good team. They're playing decent without Butler. So, hey, you could probably get a pretty decent haul for Jimmy Butler. I mean, he's a good player. And there are going to be teams that want him and that are vying for his attention. So I'm honestly not understanding why Jimmy Butler is still in a Miami Heat uniform. I actually expected him to be traded about a week ago when they announced that he was going to be missing those 7 games, because I kind of assumed you're going to go ahead and get started on the trade, or what? You think his attitude's going to change? I didn't think it was. So what are you holding on to? Just trade the dude and get what you need to get for him and move along, because the Miami Heat are actually not too far out of their division lead. The Orlando Magic did get Wagner back this weekend, so they are starting to get their guys back. But, I mean, it's actually pretty close in that division. So the Heat are actually not out of the playoff hunt. They actually have something to play for. So the way I look at it is, trade away Jimmy Butler, get what you can for him, and move on. I don't see why you're hanging on to the dude. He wants a contract. You don't want to give it to him. Peace the fuck out. I'm just not understanding how he's still in a Miami Heat uniform. But who knows? We'll see what happens with this saga and ultimately where Jimmy Butler ends up getting traded to, because obviously that's probably going to be happening here right around the corner. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of the week of sports, and I will talk to you fools on Friday.